Hey, Shalom. Kahala Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives to do so. To the scattered hopeful elect across the four corners of the earth, and those among the heathen nations that look at the heathen nations pursuant to Jeremiah 12:9, known as the speckled birds. This is not a so-called black thing. I'm Disciple Aparium, coming to you with a lesson in truth and sincerity. Now, this is a lesson that has been on my heart to do and to really learn about. Still being new in this truth, and I think a lot of brothers should know about the mixed multitude and the strangers, and really kind of go into those words and meanings. So without further ado, we're going to the book of Exodus 12, 37, and 38, because this is what a lot of Christians will utilize and say, oh no, see, it says the mixed multitude, that's everybody, and they try to essentially do what is called supersessionism. If you don't know what that is, I'm going to explain it real quick, okay? So supersessionism is basically replacement theology. Salaki, we got the damn commercials. So anyway, so the supersessionism, again, is replacement theology. It's a Christian doctrine and asserts that the new covenant, which we're not in, okay, of Yahweh Shai supersedes the old covenant, which was exclusively made with the Israelites. So-called Christians believe that they feel the fulfillment of biblical Judaism, which is made up, okay? That's what the small hats, make you believe, okay? And that the Jews, which is really Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, again, small hats were the rest of the tribes, that they deny Yahweh Shai as the Messiah and fall short of their calling as Yahweh's chosen people. So they're saying, the Christians fulfill that void. And we know that Yahweh Shai is not a man that he shall lie. Okay? So, with that said, we're going to read Exodus 12, 37, and 38. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot, that were men beside children. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle. Okay? So when you get this word mix, in the Septuagint, it's Strong's H6154, and it's Arab. All right, sounds like Arab, right? So essentially, it goes into a mixture of people, mongrel race. Okay, so let's see. You see this right here where it says mongrel. I'll highlight that right there. Right? It says Arabia, mingled people, mix, multitude, wolf. Okay? So let's go to Leviticus. And I might make this a two-part series. This kind of, there's a lot to explain in here. So let's go to Leviticus chapter 24, verses 10 through 16. And I want to read that title real quick. It says, the lamp of the bread of the sanctuary. Here it says, an example of just punishment. You see that? It says, and the son of an Israelitish woman, all right, whose father was an Egyptian. So the son's father was an Egyptian. And again, you got to go into why are they highlighting these things? There's a meaning behind all this. Anyways, he went out among the children of Israel, and this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strove together in a camp. They got into a tussle, right? And the Israelites, his woman's son, blasphemed the name of the Lord, Yahweh, right? And cursed. Again, you see it's all caps right there. That's the name of the Lord. And they brought him unto Moses. They brought this child unto Moses. And his mother's name was Shelomith, the daughter of Debri of the tribe of Dan. And they put him in ward, all right, like basically like in holding, right, that the mind of the Lord might be showed them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Bring forth him that hath cursed without the camp, and let all that heard him lay their hands upon his head, and let all the congregation stone him. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, Whosoever cursed this power shall bear his sin. And he that blasphemeth the name of the Lord, he shall surely be put to death, and all the congregation shall certainly stone him, as well the stranger as he that is born in the land. When he blasphemeth the name of the Lord, shall he be put to death. Okay? So, essentially, this was a woman who went off marrying a man of another nation. Now, there's multiple examples of, an Israelite man that have married a woman from different nations. You look at Ephraim and Manasseh. I believe that their mother was Egyptian, but the father, again, was Israelite. All right. Even Solomon. Solomon's mother was not an Israelite. So there's many examples. So Moses' wife was, I believe she was Ethiopian. But the thing is, most of those men who were in their right frame of mind, who didn't take on the gods of the woman, those it's all about the seed line. Okay, so it goes back to the father. Okay, so that you see the example, this kid was going off in the book of Leviticus 24 that we just read, 10 through 16, and he was causing confusion. Right, he was going off, blaspheming the name of the Lord, and so he was put to death, and that was done in righteousness. Right. So now I want to go to the book of Nehemiah. This is chapter 13. I'll read 1 through 3. Foreigners excluded. Okay. On that day, they read in the book of Moses in the audience of the people, and therein was found written that the Ammonite and the Moabite should not come into the congregation of power forever, because they met not the children of Israel with bread and with water, but hired Balaam, right, against them, that he should curse them. Howbeit our power turned the curse into a blessing. Now, if you read that story, he was basically like a warlock, and I believe Moab was trying to hire Balaam to curse Israel, and Israel, he ended up blessing them instead. But on top of that, what they did was, okay, well, we figure out we can't curse these people because the Lord's using Balaam, right? Even though Balaam was not an Israelite, he still, the Lord could use anybody to show, his goodness, even though they're they're not Israelites. So then he basically, Moab started to seduce Israel with their ways and their gods and through their women's and whatnot, and so Israel went off in that sense. But let's go ahead and read verse 3. Now it came to pass when they had heard the law, that they separated from Israel all the mixed multitude. Oh, so I guess they're not quite like Israel, right? And that goes back into that word Irab that we read earlier in I think that was Exodus 12 and 37, 38. Now, I want to go to Exodus 12 and 43. So this is the ordinance of Passover, or instructions for Passover. All right, so essentially, let's go ahead and read this. Verse 43, Exodus 12 and 43. And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. Okay? And that word stranger, I believe is going to the interlinear, I want to say it's nakar. Yeah, so Strong's H5236. And you see it says nakar, foreign, alien, foreigners. Let's see. All right, heathendom. All right. So, they were not to eat of the Passover. But, according to Christians, they're part of the mixed multitude, and it's okay. So, let's go back to verse 45. It says, a foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. All right. And you get that word, let's see, I'm not sure if it's foreigner or servant. Foreigner is to be thawashab. All right, thawashab. And let's see, a sojourner, stranger, in the Strong's definition, is basically temporary inmate, resident, alien, foreigner. So this could be a foreigner, or essentially a hired servant, but could also be an Israelite who has to pay back their debt. Okay, and we'll get into that later on. So let's go back to Exodus 12 and 48. It says, and when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it, and he shall be as one that is born in the land. For no uncircumcision, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. Now, you have to go into the word stranger in here, okay? Because again, these Christians, what's his name, Danny P, and the other guy, Dwayne, the preacher, or whatever his name is, they go ahead and they go off. They don't go into all this, okay? And the word stranger here is gar, all right? Gar, all right? And it says of foreigners in Israel through conceded rights, okay? What does that word conceded mean? All right? So let's go into the etymology. All right. So the word conceded goes into, to go, grant, give away, and essentially, this meaning that they had this from the beginning. Okay. So you had those who were nomadic, okay, throughout Israel. And so, let's see. An example will be Israel in Egypt, okay? Israelite sojourners, Exodus 15:13. And then let's go back to the blue letter real quick. When you go into the Chaldee lexicon, let's see, right here. It says foreign shepherds. See, appear to be foreign, right here. I'll bring that up to the top. So foreign shepherds and nomadic tribes wandering about with their flocks in the land, such as the Hebrews had formerly been in the land of Canaan. Okay? All right. So, Examples will be Exodus 2 and 22. All right, so let's go ahead and get that real quick. So this is speaking about Moses, right? And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah, his daughter, and she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom. Now, what does Gershom mean? All right, I'll keep reading. For he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. All right, let's look at that name, Gershom. Strong's H 1647, and it's Garsham, right? And it says foreigner, firstborn son of Moses, and Zipporah, firstborn son of Levi, right? It says the son of the priestly family of Phinehas, who returned from exile with Ezra. Oh, y'all should look up that word Phinehas. That's the dope word, but that's another lesson for another day. All right. So yeah, it's the name of 4 Israelites. Gershom. We just read that earlier. All right. So let's go back to Exodus 12 and verse 49. It says, one law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. All right. So that word stranger, again, is the word gar. That's an Israelite foreigner. Okay. So homeborn and stranger are treated the same here. Okay. This is not talking about the mixed multitude, all right, or the nakar, or the thawashab. And you got to know these terms. And I'm going to end it right here, and I'm going to go ahead and do a part 2, kind of further going into this. I pray this lesson was edifying. Shalom, Kwam Yasharallah. On to the next. And you Akim Akwath have a Barak Yawam. Shalom.